you talk to all of these people every day, and there's so much potential where it's in an environment where these people can learn from each other. And there's a lot of serendipitous opportunities for them. But what is that one surprising mistake or pattern that you notice in this bunch of ambitious folks when you try to teach them or when you try to coach them?
The fundamental and foundational mistake that most people make in their communication is they focus only on what they want to say. They
Mm.
don't think about what their audience needs to hear. And I don't care if that's one individual, if that's a small group meeting, or that's a big presentation. If we only focus on what we want to say, we miss an opportunity to connect, to make our content salient and relevant, and we might fail. So first and foremost, people have to think not about what do I want to say, they need to think about what does my audience need to hear, which
Mm.
begs for them to think about who their audience is, what their experience and expertise is, and how they can make their content relevant for the audience that they're speaking to.
Right. So it sounds more like a role play, right? Where you take the focus away from you, but then you try to put it on the person or the group of individuals who are listening to you, and then try to pass over and like think more from the shoes. Sounds more like that.
Absolutely. It's about empathy. It's about putting yourself in the other person's shoes. The
Yeah.
reality is, all of us suffer from the curse of knowledge. We know way too
Mm.
much about the things we're talking about, and our
Yeah.
audience often doesn't have that same depth of knowledge or experience. So if we talk at the level that's comfortable for us, we might be talking over their heads or not hitting the mark for them. So really taking on their position, as you said, thinking about it from their needs can make a
Mm.
fundamental difference.
Absolutely. This reminds me of one of those concepts that I was reading in the recent times. There are like two types of listening. One is to trying to understand whether what we say is getting really conveyed and trying to understand their viewpoint. The other kind of listening is just zoning everything out and just like running your own voice in your head. So a lot of communication is also like trying to listen to what the other party says, and also trying to then regroup the things that you have in your mind and use that rational instead of just zoning them out and always trying to make your own point, right?
That's a very astute observation. Listening is active. It is absolutely two-way. You're listening to the other person, but you also have to listen to
Mhm.
yourself, your opinions, your ideas, your reactions to what you hear. And that's the challenge because, as you said, many people just focus on one or the other, or many people
Yeah.
don't focus on either. They listen just enough to think they understand what the person says, and then they go right in and say what they want to say.
Mhm.
Listening is an under-focused area of communication. And on the podcast I host, where we interview communication experts, listening keeps coming up over and over again as an essential, necessary step in effective communication. And you're
Right.
right, we have to listen to what the others say, but also to what we ourselves are saying.